Just kidding, I'm only available for gender fluid bisexuals. Trans man, not
Did you say a slur?
That whole video made me want to say a slur. Okay, guys, welcome back to another bonus video. I'm here with Clarkson Lawson to react to more LGBT insanity on the internet from the perspective of normal gays who haven't gone fully insane yet. Clarkson, can trans men be lesbians? That's the question that TikTok is fiercely debating right now for some reason.
My answer is yes.
My answer is also yes, but also no. According to them, the answer should be no, but the answer is yes. But according to me, the answer is just yes.
Makes my brain feel like spaghetti, I'm not going to lie. I almost made a video on it, but
Well, okay, we'll get into it. But first, I want to react to the cartoonishly absurd content around this discourse on TikTok. Here is the first video, and I'm going to pause this in the middle because I can't let this one run. I'll just tear my hair out from a trans content creator weighing in on the discourse.
Trans men can be lesbians, and if you disagree with that, then I personally think that your view of queerness is a little bit childish. Now, there are a lot of sociological reasons as to why a trans man may want to identify as a lesbian, but before I get into that, the chief reason is that we're talking about adults here, primarily, and adults who are allowed to make their own decisions about the words they use to identify themselves, and trying to police those words that adults use to identify themselves when they fully sincerely believe in this identification is a little rude and very disrespectful for their queerness.
See, this is why it puts my brain into spaghetti, because technically I agree with him, but not for the reasons that he stated.
Yes, same. For the reasons that this person is saying, rip them up, throw them into the fireplace. They're terrible. I will not accept this idea that, well, whatever they say is true because they're an adult. Okay, so that person claims they're a freaking cat. They're still not a cat.
What's the point of having language? Like, should we just all learn our own language and just not have words have any meaning whatsoever? I mean,
that's very disrespectful of you to police their queerness.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know that correcting the definition was policing queerness. I thought it was just me trying to tell you what words meant. I thought. No, but the thing is we agree with him, I guess, because for me, sexuality is based off of sex. So you're either bisexual, you're gay, or you're lesbian. And no matter what your gender identity is.
Or heterosexual, they exist too.
I forget about them. No, but like your gender identity, they have been arguing that gender and sex are separate. So then why can't we make that separation when it talks about sexuality? Why is it offensive to make that separation? If you can look like a woman, but if you have the genetics of a man, you are literally whatever it might be. I don't know that's too much work in my brain. I can't do all these things, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd to me that the ultra woke crowd would try to argue that trans men can be lesbians because they believe trans men are men. And then you're saying men can be lesbians, which does not make sense because the whole point of lesbians is that they're women now or females. Now, because I view trans man as a category of female, I agree that trans men can be lesbians.
Right.
So
now, I've noticed when looking into this on TikTok is there's a lot of like other lesbians, bisexual lesbians who are taking the opposite side. And they're like, he can identify as, I'll go on a date with, is it him? No, with her, blah, blah. And it's like, you guys just need to admit that you're bisexual. Like that's all it is. And I think there's a lot of gay men and lesbian women who have taken on their sexuality as like a part of their persona to the point where they don't ever want to admit that they're truly bisexual.
I don't think that's that true for a lot of men. I feel like men tend to be more fully one way or the other.
Yeah, well, I think that has to do a little bit probably with hormones and psychology, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you can get it up for a vagine.
Plot twist, conversational plot twist.
Just saying, if you can get it up for that type of anatomy, I consider you bisexual. Regardless of how the person looks.
Okay, back to Miss Lila or whatever here.
Had to get that off my chest, you know.
There's much more to this person's video. It makes a whole lot of sense.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Can a man be a lesbian? That does not make any sense. However, we have to look at the label of queer as it exists apart from the label of lesbian. Now, queerness is a thing that exists on a philosophical level. That's a horrible explanation for it. But it's more of a sociological label for one's relationship to society and societal expectations of sexual orientation and gender expression and identity. One can theoretically be gay without being queer. A gay man who has no respect for his fellow queer people may be gay, but not necessarily queer.
That's us, baby!
Shout out! I didn't know that there was more. That's why I was yapping so much earlier. I'm like, God damn.
Well, that's a shout out to us, but there's still a little more.
Queerness, when it comes to trans men, is oftentimes rooted in their historical attraction to women and lived experience as a woman, as a lesbian, prior to transitioning. And a lot of them hold on to that queer label of lesbian, even as they transition, even as they come out. And trying to police people for their desire to relate to a queer label that they have held on to their entire life is incredibly unfair to them. And I'm sure you wouldn't want someone doing the same thing to you. So yes, trans men can be lesbians, and I'm not just saying that because I want them to call me. I'm just kidding. I'm only available for gender fluid bisexuals. Trans man, not trans.
Did you say slur?
That whole video made me want to say a slur.
You know when like a 6-year-old just like gets back from like a theme park and rambles about the day with incoherent details? That's what I just got. Like what are you talking about, bro? We shouldn't be policing our community. No, this is exactly why we need to be policing our community. Period.
The dictionary exists, and it is not a choose your own adventure book.
But we agree. But we're actually on the
we
same
agree,
side.
but for the total opposite reasons.
Yeah.
But trans men can be lesbians because they are female, and a lesbian is a female who's attracted to other females. Now, I think that's a little like over technical, a little over literal. Like I personally would not be interested in a trans woman, even though technically that's a male and a male. So it is more complicated than that. But on a bare definition, logical level, it's true, just not for any of the dumb reasons this person is yapping about. Like, because it's their truth and they identify with queerness and they're an adult. Like, that's all kind of anti-logic, as is this next video, which just says that you and I can't speak on this because we're gay men or something. Let's listen.
You can't be a trans male and also be lesbian. You just don't like straight culture.
I don't know why gay men think they could speak on lesbian topics or lesbian discourse, because you cannot. You're cis, you're gay, and you're a male. Don't talk to us. Especially that you're not like allies, and like you're not like, you personally, you're not actually helping us. You're just wanting likes and views for the discourse, for the trending topics. Suck my dick, bitch.
Sorry. Get over that face she made. God, that stuff, like that moral superiority shit, the way that, sorry for cussing so much. The way she inserts herself as the person who determines whose voice matters and whose doesn't, it's like, that's my trigger on TikTok. Like that's literally my brand, because she's a bully. She's literally bullying people based off of their identity. And then it's like shielded as activism. It's so, I just want to like say something to her to push her down a peg.
It's just not a good argument. You can't speak on this because of X box you check on the census. It's like, it's anti-logic. What I'm saying, the argument I'm making wouldn't be more or less true if I was a lesbian. It'd be the same words. They'd either be true or false, but she's saying, you can't speak on this because you're a cis gay man. All right, well, imagine if like any other conversation about anything in society, we're like, oh, well, you can't speak on this because you're, a lesbian woman and this is about gay men things, or this is about rich people and you're broke. So no opinions to be had here.
I mean, I think it's there's a problem where people are just relating their lived experiences to fact and logic, and I don't know if it's the result of just people becoming less educated in this arena on how to have these conversations, but it's something that does need to be addressed in schools, like immediately. Like, this is what a logical argument is. Your experience with whatever type of person it is does not make your argument strong at all. It's actually not even an argument. You're just talking about your prejudice towards gay men.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the person making the original video that the lesbian person stitched made the claim, like, you can't be a trans man and a lesbian. And then this person responded with no substantive response whatsoever to the topic at hand. Just, shut up, you're gay.
Yep. I don't know, what is wrong? Why does she have, you could see the animosity in her face. Like, what did gay guys do to her? Why does she just not like, she probably just doesn't like men.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I mean,
Can't
right
blame
now-
her totally for that one.
I was gonna say, I mean, right now I'm kind of in the same vibe, so sorry, girl. I agree with you.
Okay, guys, well, let us know who you side with and where you come down on the great can trans men be lesbians debate. You know, when I got into journalism and political commentary, I didn't quite think these would be the profound political questions I would discuss, but here we are. For your enjoyment, pleasure. Make sure you hit that like button, comment with your thoughts, yada, 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 and we'll talk again real soon.